Take a second and just think about that screen in your pocket, or maybe the tablet sitting on your desk. For an 8th grader today, logging on means stepping into this vast, almost endless digital wilderness. It's a completely different landscape than what existed just a few decades ago. Sure, it's incredibly exciting, full of knowledge and entertainment, but let's be honest, it is also incredibly easy to get lost in the weeds. So welcome to this explainer, where we'll be building your compass.
To set the perfect foundational tone for our time together, let's look at Proverbs 1:5. Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance. True learning isn't just about passively staring at a glowing rectangle until your eyes glaze over, right? It requires active, intentional understanding. We really need wisdom and spiritual guidance to navigate this digital landscape safely and effectively, rather than just kind of floating aimlessly through it.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the digital landscape, what digital texts actually are, and why digital literacy matters. Then we'll navigate some key digital features, check your understanding, and wrap it all up with education, wisdom, and morality. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The digital landscape. Information is everywhere.
Section 2. What are digital texts? More than just words.
So a digital text is basically any text that includes interactive and visual elements that literally change how we read and understand the information. It's totally dynamic, it's moving, and it actively engages your senses. You're not just reading left to right, top to bottom anymore. You're actually experiencing the information in this incredibly multi-layered way. Think about the difference here. Traditional texts are just, static words on a page. Think of a standard paperback novel or one of those heavy old encyclopedias. But digital texts, they add a whole new layer. The videos, the links, the pop-ups, they completely revolutionize the experience, turning a static page into a multi-dimensional environment where you get to choose exactly how deep you want to go.
Section 3. Why digital literacy matters. Preparing for real-life scenarios.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why do you actually need to learn this stuff instead of just endlessly scrolling? Well, mastering digital literacy lets you find crucial information quickly, without wasting hours wandering the web. It helps you spot reliable sources so you aren't fooled by bad data. It absolutely arms you against misleading content, which, let's face it, is everywhere online right now. And ultimately, it just makes you a much stronger, more efficient reader. You need these exact skills for your school projects today, and you will absolutely need them for your future careers.
Section 4. Navigating key digital features, the tools of the digital wilderness.
All right, the 3 key digital features we're really going to master in this explainer are hyperlinks, interactive media, and embedded videos. These 3 elements are literally the core building blocks of the digital world you interact with every single day. So understanding exactly how they function is super vital.
Let's look at the double-edged sword of our first tool, hyperlinks. We all know those underlined blue words, right? How do they help? Well, they're like portals. They connect you instantly to detailed research studies, source materials, and related topics that completely deepen your understanding of a subject. But how do they distract? They can keep you clicking away from the main article. One minute you're reading about climate change and, 5 clicks later, you're deep into an article about something entirely unrelated. That is the classic danger of the digital rabbit hole.
Next up, interactive media. Think about clicking through a digital history timeline. That adds a visual layer that makes complex content incredibly easy to remember and honestly highly engaging for your brain. However, the distraction factor here is that these flashy moving elements can sometimes totally pull your focus away from the actual text and the core message you originally sat down to learn. You get caught up in the interactive bells and whistles instead of the underlying information.
And that brings us to embedded videos. Imagine a science website explaining the water cycle. If they toss a short, animated video right in the middle of the article, it visually reinforces exactly what you've just read. It's a massive help. But you really got to stay sharp here. If that video is poorly made or worse, scientifically inaccurate, it can cause some major confusion. Just because it's presented as a slick video doesn't automatically mean the information is true. Always evaluate your sources.
Section 5. Checking your understanding. Testing your digital compass.
Let's hit pause for a second and test that digital compass. Can you define digital text in your own words? And can you list 3 specific features you might find in one? Think back to that core definition we covered. Remember, it's dynamic, not static. And try to recall those 3 key tools we just broke down: the links, the interactive media, and the videos.
Now, I want you to apply this to your own life. How exactly do hyperlinks improve your understanding? Try to think back to a specific time when an embedded video actually helped you conquer a tough school subject. And what's a disadvantage of interactive features? Look, we've all experienced getting derailed or completely distracted online. Use those personal, real-world experiences to answer these questions and lock in what you've learned.
Section 6. Education, Wisdom, and Morality. The HeroesMart Academy Philosophy. Here's where we have to confront a pretty serious concept. Education without morality will hurt. I mean, what is the absolute point of being incredibly smart, highly educated, and technically skilled if you just use those tools to make bad choices that end up hurting yourself or the people around you? Having all the digital literacy skills in the world honestly means absolutely nothing if you don't possess a strong, grounded moral compass to guide how you actually use them out there in the real world.
Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. When we take that biblical promise and apply it to the digital wilderness, it kind of changes everything. True peace of mind, not just academic success or finding a source quickly, that is the ultimate goal of your education. How you interact with digital texts, what you click on, and what you choose to believe online should all contribute to that peace, not take away from it.
So you now possess the technical tools to navigate this vast digital wilderness. You know exactly how to identify dynamic texts, how to leverage hyperlinks properly, and how to evaluate embedded media. But the real question is, will you choose the moral compass to guide you? Because the technical skills alone just aren't enough. It's a wild world out there on those screens. Choose wisdom, stay focused, and intentionally use these digital tools to build a better, more peaceful understanding of the world.